So one of the jobs that I'm doing today is to try and find out why the 1300 crossflow is about 5 horsepower down on power compared to some of the other ones that we build. It could be in the camshaft. They use a controlled cam, but most of the engines that I'm building for this formula are doing around 98 horsepower. It's a 1300 crossflow, and this one's I think 92. And my customer's just saying that he's just feeling like it needs a bit of power. So the few checks that I'm going to make before I get too carried away, the first one is called a cylinder leakage test. So to do a cylinder leakage test, in fact I've got to wait for the compressor to quieten up, because it's we use the compressor to do the test. But basically I use this this is a Snap-on Tools cylinder leakage tester, and how this works is we set this gauge up to 0, and then we get each cylinder at TDC on its firing stroke, so both valves are closed, so we'll have a tappet clearance. So the first thing to do is to set the gauge exactly on 0 once the compressor has finished building up on air. We use this thumb screw, so this just regulates the air running through this. So that's it. So that's now set to 0. You can see on the gauge that there's white, which is your set, so that goes up to 10% leakage, and then you've got the green bar, which is low, up to 40% leakage, and then you've got yellow, which is moderate, up to 70% leakage, and then high leakage is from 70 to 100%, and that's in the red. So for a normal road engine, the green, anywhere in the green is fine. I like to keep it in the white. If it's in the white, then I'm happy. If it's not, then I want to try and find out why and keep them in the white. So the first thing to do when doing a cylinder leakage test is to screw an adapter into the spark plug hole, which is down here. So that's an M14 by 1.25 thread, and it's basically just a tube with an open hole with an attachment to connect the cylinder leakage tester to it. So the first thing to do is to screw that in, and then I also try and be quite quick doing this, because once the compressor starts to lose air, it then re-loses the 0, so you have to keep adjusting it slightly. But what's good about this compared to a compression test is this pinpoints where an engine is leaking from, or leaking compression from, and it's so simple that once you've got this running and you can see what cylinder leakage it's got on your gauge, you can then listen to different parts of the engine to pinpoint where the leak is coming from. So for example, once we've got this connected, if our leakage is around 10 to 20%, and you will be able to hear the air escape. So it's got to escape from somewhere. If it's escaping through an inlet valve, it then basically runs up the inlet tract, and we'll hear it coming out the inlet manifold, which is here, if we can see it on the camera. Yeah, which is here. If the inlet valve is okay and it's an exhaust valve, then quite simply we'll hear it through the exhaust port. If both valves are closed and are not leaking, and it's still got leakage, then the next place, or the only place it can come through, is down the ring. So it will come through the rings into the crankcase, and then it will leak either up the dipstick tube or through the rocker cover. So once again we can pinpoint that. Right, so let's do number 1 first. Okay, so straight away we've got just over 10% leakage, and I can hear it straight away. That's coming out the exhaust valve. Yeah, there's nothing coming out of the inlet. I can hear a little bit coming out the coming up the rocker box, but the main leak is coming from the exhaust valve. So that's that one done. So what I'm going to do is just quickly make a note of where that's leaking from. So we've got 10% leakage, and then I just put 10% leakage, and then I put an E for exhaust. Oh no, sorry, that's number 1. The donut. Right, so the next thing is 1 complete turn of the engine, and that will put cylinder number 4 firing. Which is there. So basically all we do now is just repeat the process. Making sure that the gauge is still reading 0. And that one there's just over 5%, about 6%, that's in the white still. So that one's fine. But I'll make a note of it. What's strange is I could hear that coming from the exhaust as well, so I don't know if it's got quite hot and it's just slightly caught an exhaust seat or damaged an exhaust seat, but it's a bit strange that it's the exhaust leaking again. All I'm using this for at the moment is just to quickly find TDC, which is there. Next cylinder to do is cylinder number 3. So we'll screw the adapter in, make sure the gauge is on 0. So that's number 3 now connected, and once again about 6% leakage, so that one's fine. That's coming up the rocker cover, so it's getting a little bit of blow by past the rings. Then round 1 more complete turn. Take the adapter out of number 3 and place it into number 2. Make sure the gauge is still set to 0. And that one there's 10% as well. And that's coming up the crankcase. A little bit out the exhaust, mainly out the crankcase. So that's something else that I just quickly need to have a look at when I take it apart. But that's it. That is doing a cylinder leakage test. Next thing to do is to put my equipment away, and then I'll quickly run through the tappets to make sure they haven't tightened up, and then just start to take the cylinder head off and try and find the couple of issues and repair the couple of issues that it's got. So this is the 1300 crossflow that I did the cylinder leakage test on and checked the cam timing and the tappets on yesterday. The one thing I did notice was the piston was sitting below the deck height by 1/8 thou, which on the original build sheet I wrote that. So to try and help just find a bit more torque and power, I've now taken 1/8 thou off the block, so that gets that sitting perfect. I've chamfered the bore again. I'm going to quickly just blip the honer down it because one of the cylinders looks a bit glazed, and then that can go through the cleaner. I've also done this job. A customer had got a glow plug snapped off in here. He had a go at fixing it himself and made a right mess of it. So after a bit of perseverance, last night I managed to get the glow plug out, but I've just got to do the thread now. Well, I'm signing off because my phone keeps ringing. Right, so this is the glow plug repair that I've done for someone. That was the broken bit that I got out. Unfortunately, I couldn't restore the original thread because of where the mechanic had a crack at it and damaged it really bad. So I don't know if you can see there. I've made a little insert up for it, bored the head out bigger, and then inserted it. But it tightens up nice now. I've copper greased it all as well, just so if you wanted to whip it out, you can. So that's another one done. Just got to ring the customer now and tell him to come and collect. So it's official day one of owning the workshop, or part ownership with the bank. Sam was here all at the weekend, washing, jet washing. He was flat out, bless him, with a couple of his mates. So I thought I'd just have a quick open up and see what he's done. Oh, he's jet washed all the front. Bloody hell, he's done a fair bit. He's jet washed all that. That was all dirty yesterday. He was up on the roof doing the skylights and everything because it was really dark in here. And now you don't even need to put the lights on, really. It's still quite dark in here, but wow, this is 100 times better than it was. I don't know if the GoPro will pick that up, but that dark bit there is what the roof looked like. And then Sam's done, I'd say 3/4 of the roof. So that's what it's like now. It's loads better. Him and his mates have done all the skylights, jet washed all the crap off them. And then the floor was built up with machining oil from the old gear cutter, AD. You wouldn't have even known it had any paint on it, to be fair. It was just dark, oily and horrible. But now it's looking pretty good. Good job, Sam. The crossflow engine now is almost back together. Head's torqued down. It's got a slightly more compression now. I've gone through the valve train. I've got to set the tappets. I'm doing the cam timing, bolt the sump on, and then that one's finished, ready for the customer. So this is Carl's 1300 Ford Crossflow race engine. It's all built now. I've modified a few bits on it, like I explained earlier. So what I'm doing now is the cam timing. First thing is to set the tappets. Then it's to put the degree protractor on the front of it. Find true TDC, which I've already done. So this pointer and where it says top here is TDC on 1 and 4. And then I'm going to do it on degrees. There's two ways to do it. There's lift at TDC or degrees. I'm doing this one on degrees. There's a certain degree that we like to try and find for this particular race series. So that's what I'm looking for at the moment. So I'll check that now. So that's it. The cam timing is now set to the specs. I'm hoping the time lapse picked me up doing that. If anybody wants to know any information about cam timing, then just drop me a message or put it in the comments section. I use two different ways of cam timing. One is lift at TDC and the other is in degrees, but I do it while the valve's in motion. I don't use so much of the dwell theory, so, but I'm happy to explain the way I do it. If anybody wants to know, just ask. Right, the next thing to do is just to finish dressing this engine up. So it's a case of making sure these are torqued up, bending the lock tabs over, fitting the front plate or front cover, front pulley, rocker cover, and then turning it over and just fitting the sump. And I'll probably fit the guy's water pump and thermostat housing for him as well, while it's here, and pulley. Just get it so it's completely ready for him. Well, it's been a bit of a manic week this week. I've got a fair bit done. It's gone out, but I haven't really done a lot of recording, so I'll just show you some of the bits that are still here. This is a pressure testing reface, and I've just vac tested it now just to make sure everything's okay before my customer collects it tomorrow, which it is. I've just had some Z-Tech parts that I've polished the crank, washed, honed the block, refaced the block and washed that, removed the core plugs. So that's just been collected by my customer Steve, so he's got that. I'm doing a VXR engine and a CVH engine in here, which is just there. So that's all machined and that's ready to build now. And that's the CVH, which is I've just got to do the rods. I weren't too happy with the rods, so I thought I'd balance them. And lucky I checked, because one of them's 6 grams out, so I need to sort that out tomorrow. And there's a load more pistons for balancing. That's the VXR crank, which I've ran that up and balanced that. So you'll probably see the video of that. What else has been done? I've done a fair few pressure tests this week. I've stripped down some race 2.9 V6 Ford engine cylinder heads, which was in a bad way. I think I recorded some broken studs being removed. Some mini works come in. Oh, there's tons of it. That's a Vauxhall engine that's come in for me to do some work on. That's ready to be collected. This is a Pinto head that I started to do for a customer, and I spotted a crack in it, and then pressure tested it and it was scrap. So he then brought over another cylinder head, which is this one. So I've pressure tested this, which is fine, skimmed it, and I've cut the seats now, so that's ready for him to collect. And then the good stuff that's happened is the old cabin, which was left all derelict after Sam had decided to pull it down. I've had some guys clearing all that out, so today was the last day they was here and collected the rest of the rubbish. So that's all gone now, so that's looking better. So they've just left me some oil containers to get rid of there, which they wouldn't take that, which I understand that, so I'm not bothered about that. And then Stephen, the guy that we've got doing some other work for us, him and the boy that works for him, or works with him, cleared all the weeds down here, so he's just waiting for this to die off, and then he's going to come and spray this to get rid of this and drag it all down. He also chopped down the 2 trees that was overhanging on the unit, so he's done that. He's coming up back to secure the back of my workshop up. He's going to put some barbed wire and whatnot up, and then inside they've pulled down the old toilet, kitchen and upstairs office that they used to have. It was old and knackered and I didn't really want it, so they've been and pulled all that down and sorted that, so that's all gone now. My wife's put that on eBay for me, so we'll see if we sell that. Oh, they haven't taken that old tabletop. I'll have to get rid of that. Yeah, so they've got rid of that. We can see where it was, where the wall's still dirty, so we've got to just try and sort the rest of that out, and rip all this wiring down. I'm going to have it all rewired anyway, so I'm not bothered about this old stuff. It's racing on Sunday, which I was going to do, but I think with the workload at the moment, I don't think I'm going to make that. I've got to get this VXR and the CVH engine finished, so I don't think I'll be doing that. But if I do, I will record the racing, and Tracy will get that up on the vlog for us. So the other thing I just quickly wanted to do was thank all the subscribers that we've currently got. I think we're up to 244 at the moment. Thanks for all the likes, all the comments. If you could share, try and get me some more subscribers. It just makes it worth doing when I see them numbers jump up. And the more subscribers we get and the more confident I get, the better the filming gets. So if you could all please like it, share it, subscribe to it, tell people about it, just to try and help get the following up. Thanks for watching. So I'm supposed to be on my way to Ballery now for racing, but my spotter let me down. He decided that he wanted a spot for another guy with loads more money than me and a better driver than me. So yeah, he dropped the bad news to me that he wanted a spot for somebody else. So cute little louvers for the new plates. Go now, goodbye.